Hi, fifth grade. Today's math lesson is lesson 4.6, and today we are learning how to multiply whole numbers times decimals. So we're going to be doing multiplication again today, but you're going to see some decimals in there. And we're just going to start right in with number 1, and you're going to get the hang of it pretty quickly. So number 1 says 0.8 times 6. We are going to multiply just like normal. So you're going to ignore the decimal point, pretend like they're just normal numbers up there, and multiply like we always have been doing. So first I'm going to do 6 times 8. 6 and 8 went on a date, 48. So put my 8, carry my 4. 6 times 0 is 0, plus 4 more is 4. So I'm done multiplying now. I have a 4, 8. All I need to do is decide where my decimal goes. So I'm going to look up in my problem. How many numbers are behind my decimal up here in my problem? Just one number. So that means in my answer, there should be one number behind the decimal. So if I want one number behind the decimal, I'm going to put it right here, 4.8. However many numbers are behind the decimal up here is how many should be behind the decimal down here. Let's try another one, and we'll get the hang of it as we go. Number 2, 0.05 times 9. You're going to see a lot of zeros when we're doing decimals. That's okay. Just treat them like any other number and just keep right on multiplying like we always do. So starting with my 9. 9 times 5 is 45. Put my 5, carry my 4. 9 times 0 is 0, plus 4 more is 4. 9 times 0 is 0. Notice I just treated those zeros like regular numbers. It just kept right on going and didn't confuse me at all. Then I have to decide where my decimal goes. So I'm looking up here. There are 2 numbers behind my decimal up here. So I need 2 numbers down here, which means it needs to go right there. Has to have the same amount behind the decimal in my answer as it did in the problem. Let's try number 3. Starting with my 0. 0 times 3 is 0. 0 times 0 is 0. All right, I'm done with that 0, so I X him out. When I make an X, I have to make an O, just like we usually do. And now I'm working with the 4. 4 times 3 is 12, so put my 2, carry my 1. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 1 more is 1. Then I would add those up, just like I always do. This is just normal. The only difference now is I need to figure out where to put my decimal. So I'm looking back up here. I only had one number behind it up here. So where would my decimal go here so that I have one number behind it? Right here, 12.0. All right, I'm going pretty quick on the multiplication part because this should be review. We already know how to do this. We've been doing it for a couple of lessons now. So you're multiplying like normal. The only new thing you have to do is figure out where that decimal goes. So let's do number 4. Starting with my 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 0 is 0. I'm done with that 2, so X him out. When I make an X, I have to make an O. And then I go to my next number, which is the 3. And now I multiply again. 3 times 4 is 12. Put my 2, carry my 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. 3 times 0 is 0. Then I add them up. Be careful on my addition so that I don't make a mistake here. 0,448 is what I got. Now really I probably wouldn't need this 0 up here because remember a 0 at the front doesn't really mean anything, so I could have left that off, but it's okay. I need to decide how many numbers come after my decimal, so I look up here. 2 numbers after, so where would my decimal go so that I have 2 numbers after? Right here between my 4s, 4.48. You could leave the 0 or take it off, it would be the same thing. All right, number 5, start with the 4 right here, multiply like normal. 4 times 3 is 12, put my 2, carry my 1. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 1 is 17, put my 7, carry my 1. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. I'm done with that 4, so X him out and X out all of these we carried up here, lots of X's. And when I make an X, I have to make an O. Then I go to my next number, which is the 6, and I multiply like normal again. 6 times 3 is 18. Put my 8, carry my 1. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 would be 25, so put my 5, carry my 2. and 6 times 0 is 0, plus 2 more would be 2. Add them up. 2, 5, 7, 2. And I have to figure out where my decimal goes. So look up here. There are 2 numbers behind. Where would my decimal go in my answer then? Right here, so that there are 2 numbers behind, 27.52. Now, I'm halfway through the examples. It would probably be a good idea for you to try some on your own and then double check so that you can see if you're making mistakes, where you're making the mistakes. So you could always pause the video, work out number 6, and then press play and go from there. And then once I'm done with number 6, you could pause for number 7, try it on your own. So you might want to pause and play the video throughout here. I'm just going to keep right on working, but since you're at home and you're on your iPad, you can pause it anytime you need to, work it out on your own, and then see if you did it correctly. All right, number 6, start with the 1. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 0 is 0. I'm done with the 1, so X him out. When I make an X, I have to make an O. 3 times 7 is 21, so put my 1, carry my 2. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 more is 8. 3 times 0 is 0. Add them up. 7, 3, 8. Remember that 0 up front I could leave off, so I'm going to leave it off this time. Looking up at my problem, I have 2 numbers behind the decimal, so where does my decimal point need to go in my answer? Right here, so that there are 2 numbers behind, 8.37. If you had a 0 up there, it's okay, it's the same thing. All right, you might want to pause and work number 7. I'm going to keep right on going. Press play when you're ready. 3 times 7 is 21, so put my 1, carry my 2. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. I'm done with that 3, so X him out. X out this one I carried. And when I make X's, I have to make an O. And then I go to my next number. 3 times 7 is 21, so put my 1, carry my 2. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. I'm done with that 3, X him out, X this guy out. Now, we've never multiplied by 3 digits before, so I just made X's. Now I have 2 X's here, so I have to add 2 O's. And then I go one more time with my third number. So 3 times 7 is 21, put my 1, carry my 2. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. So same thing, I just had to make 2 O's because I had 2 X's there. And then I add all of these numbers together, being careful not to make a mistake. 2, 3, 3, 1. And then I need to decide where my decimal goes. So look up here, I only had 1 number behind my decimal. So my decimal would have to go right here so that I have 1 number behind it. 233.1. All right, number 8, you might want to pause, work out, and then come back and see if you did it correctly. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 0 is 0. Cross out my 1, I'm done with him. Make an O. When I make an X, I make an O. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 0 is 0. I'm done with my 2, so X him out. Now remember, I have 2 X's, so I add 2 O's, and then I go again. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 0 is 0. Add them up. Lots of zeros, so this addition is easy. I'm going to leave that 0 off the front. Remember, we don't really need it up there. And I need to decide where my decimal goes. So there's 1 behind up here. So 1 behind back here. So 84.2. All right, 2 more for good practice. Remember, you can rewatch the video. You can pause, play, however you need to do it so that you make sure that you understand before you start your assignment. Let's finish up these last 2. 5 times 5 is 25. So put my 5, carry my 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Put my 2, carry my 1. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 more is 16. I'm done with my 5, X him out, X these guys out, and put my O, and then I go again. 2 times 5 is 10, put my 0, carry my 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 2 times 3 is 6. Add them up. 8125 is what we should have gotten. And then I look, I have 2 numbers behind my decimal. So down here, my decimal needs to go in between the 1 and the 2, 81.25. Also notice I'm making my decimals big enough that they're easy to see. Don't just put a little tiny dot with your pencil, that makes it hard for me to tell where it's at. So make sure it looks like a decimal. All right, last one, number 10. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 0 is 0. 9 times 6 is 54. I went quick. If you know your multiplication facts, it goes a lot faster. Otherwise, use your chart to help you. I'm done with my 9. X him out. When I make an X, I have to make an O, and then I go again. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 6 is 6. Add them up. 9, 1, 4, 11. Ooh, big number. 11419. Oops, you can't see that. 11419. And all I need to do is decide where my decimal goes from there. So I look up here, I had 2 behind. So I should have 2 behind back here, which means my decimal has to go right here. 114.19. All right, that's multiplying by a decimal. All you do is multiply like normal. Ignore the decimal to start out. And then once I have my answer, I just look up there and see how many numbers need to be behind my decimal and add it in there. You've got it. Start on your assignment whenever you feel like you're ready. Bye.